Hello everyone, myself Dr. Sonam Gupta, working as a professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering in Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College. So today we are going to discuss a complex topic in compiler design, which is runtime environment. So first of all, let's see the runtime environment in various allocation phases. Runtime environment it can be done statically and we can also do it dynamically as well. So first is runtime addressing in the static allocation. What it is that variable addresses, as we all know, these are hard coded. We are aware that in compiler designing, these variable addresses, they are hard coded and they are used as a offset from data area where the variable is declared. So let's suppose I want to find the address of any variable, for example as x. So address of x it will be the start of x local scope plus the offset value of the variable x. So this is how I can find the complete address of this variable x. So what we can see here over that the variable, what it is start of the local scope from where the variable's local scope is starting plus the offset value comprising of this local scope and the offset value provide me the address. So this is for the addressing of any variable. Now for the stack allocation, what are the things we are going to require? So for this we have a different approach so that we can handle recursion as well. Recursion, as we know, what is recursion? Recursion is when a method is calling itself again and again. For example, I am having a method over here. So the method itself is calling another function, like this is function f1, this is f2, it is calling another function f3, it is calling another function f4. Now finally what will happen? We are going to return the values, that is the value which is computed by this function f4, that value will be passed to this f3. Then by the help of that value, f3 is going to perform some computation, the same computation which is for all the functions. The computed value is passed on to f2 and from there the computed value we get the final value from this particular function f1. So to handle the recursion we need to have different approaches. What the three things we require for that? First one, it is the code area. Now what is the code area? This is machine code for the procedures. What the machine codes are required for the procedures, for the functions, we need to have a code area defined with it. Second one, we need a static data. What is static data? This is not associated with the procedures. This is the fixed data, fixed memory allocation data, and it is not associated with the procedures. For the procedures, we are going to have the code area. And finally, what we need a stack, or we can say a control stack. What it is? It is the runtime information. So we can say we are having a block over here. We need code area. This will be the code area. We need a static data. And along with this, we need a stack, or we can say it is a control stack which contains all the runtime information so that the procedure can be done. Now, let's see what is the control stack. The control stack which we have discussed over here, we are going to see this in detail. Control stack, what it is the flow of the control in a program which corresponds to the depth first traversal of the activation tree. So what procedure is going to follow? It is the depth first traversal, and what it is, we start with the root. We start at the root, we visit a node before its children, and then we recursively visit the children at each node and a left to right order. So we are having a root node, for example, we are having some children, so we are going to visit these children, and after that we are going to visit all these children, the node of this. These are the children of this particular node. So we are going to visit all these children recursively on a left to right order. From left to right, we are going to visit all these children in a recursive manner. And we are having a stack. What the stack is known as? That stack is known as the control stack. And what it contains? It contains all the track of the live procedure activations. So this is the information. What is activation record? Activation record, it is pushed onto the control stack, and whenever the activation will start, it will be pushed over the control stack. that activation record, it is popped whenever the activation will end. So we are having an activation record which is going to be inserted into the stack. The particular stack, whenever the activation will start, that record will be entered into it. Whenever the activation will end, the information is going to be deleted, and since we are dealing in stack, so we are going to put the operations. Dynamically it is going and shrinking. Why it is dynamically? Since the activation record, it is being popped whenever the activation has end, and it is going to be inserted, or we can say pushed, whenever the activation gets started. So dynamically it is going to be grown in nature, or we can say it can also shrink in nature. So when node n, it is at the top of the control stack, then the stack contains the node along the path from n to the root. So we are n, it is the top node. So what will be the stack from n to the root? That will be particular stack information. Now there are some scopes of the variable. What are the scopes? Scope means the visibility. We can say it be a visibility as well, till where the particular variable will be visible. For example, if I declare a function, suppose a. Now in this a function, I had declared a variable, suppose b, and I am going to use this particular variable b. Now what is the scope of this variable b? The scope of this variable b is within this function only, since b is declared within these brackets. Now if suppose I am having a global variable, suppose int c. Now what is the scope of this particular variable c? The scope of this variable c is throughout the program. It is visible in this a function. If I had developed b function as well, so it is visible in this b function as well. So scope means visibility or the accessibility of any variable. So the same variable name can be used in different parts of the program. For example, if I had written over here int b only, so what will be done? This b is having the global scope, whereas this particular b, it will override that this global scope b, and it will be accessible only through these parentheses only. So the scope rules of the language, it determine which declaration of a name applies when the name appears in the program, which declaration is required, what is the scope, what is the visibility whenever it is being declared. So an occurrence of the variable, what it is, local and non-local. We have divided two parts. First one, it is local, and second one, it is non-local. What is local? If that occurrence is in the same procedure in which it is named, it is declared. Otherwise it is declared outside of that procedure. So if we are looking over this example, then b, it is local for this function a, whereas this variable b, it is non-local since it is declared outside this function. So let's see over here, we are having procedure p, here variable b has been declared. Inside this procedure p, we are having another procedure q, a variable a with integer property has been declared. Function is being starting, a is equal to 1, b is equal to 2, and then it is being ended. So what is here? A, it is local, and b, it is non-local. Why a is local? Because it is declared inside this procedure q, but variable b, it is declared outside this procedure, so it is non-local to this particular procedure q. So these are the scopes. Now next, coming over to the activation records. What are the activation records? So we all need information by a single execution of a procedure, and it is managed by using contiguous blocks of storage. Now these contiguous blocks of storage, these are known as the activation records. So this includes all the information which is required for the single execution. So an activation record, when it is allocated only when a procedure is entered, and whenever the procedure gets completed, it gets deactivated. Like if I see over here, the procedure gets deactivated over here. So in the activation record, first procedure p will enter, here p will enter. After that, procedure q will enter into the activation record. Procedure q has been ended over here. So what will happen? Q will be deleted. Now new stack, it will contain procedure p. This is the stack of the activation record. Here procedure p has been ended, so it will be popped up. and the stack will be empty. So this is how this activation record is going to be worked. Whenever the procedure gets entered, activation record will be allocated, and whenever the procedure has been completed, it gets deallocated. Next, it is what is the size of the each field, how it can be determined. It can be determined at the compile time. The actual location of the activation record, it is determined at the run time, but we say it at the compile time. We are going to discuss it why it is so. Except that if a procedure, it has a local variable and its size depends on the parameter, its size is determined at the run time. So whenever we know that what is the variable, what is the size of the variable, so that can be done at the run time only. Now this is the particular stack structure of the activation record. What activation record it will contain? It will have these many values. First one, return value, actual parameters, optional control link, optional access link, saved machine status, local data, and the temporary. So we are going to discuss this one by one. What is the return value? Return value of the call procedure, it is returned in this particular field, in this return value field, and we can use a machine register for to return the value. So to return the value, a machine register can be used. Actual parameters means whenever we are calling any procedure, some parameters must have been passed. So what are those parameters which have been passed? These are the actual parameters which are used by the calling procedure to supply to the procedure. Next one, optional control link, it points to the activation record of the caller. Where is the activation record of the caller? It is going to point at that particular address. Optional access link, to refer to non-local database which is held in the activation records. Saved machine status, it holds information about the machine status before the procedure is called. So what was the state of the machine before the procedure was called? That status will be saved in saved machine status. Now the field of the local data, which holds the local to the execution of a procedure, that is stored in the local data, and the temporary variables, they are stored in the temporaries. So this is the particular stack of the activation record. It consists of these 7 entries: return value, actual parameters, optional control link, optional access link, saved machine status, local data, and the temporaries. So let's see how this activation record is going to be worked with the help of this example. We are having a program, and this is the main function which is being declared. A procedure has been declared in it, procedure P. A variable has been entered, variable A, and the data type it is to be real. After that, procedure Q has been declared. In this procedure Q, we are having a variable B, and the data type of this variable B, it is of integer type. Then some computation has been done in this. Then procedure Q has begun and it has been ended. After that, procedure S has been declared. A variable has been entered, variable C, with the data type as the integer. Function has been created. Then this has been completely ended. So if I make a record of this, we are going to create a tree for it. What is that? First one, main is created. So the root node, it is the main. In this main, procedure P is created. So one node, it is of P. Inside procedure P, procedure Q has been created. So the child of P will be Q. The Q has been ended, and procedure S has been created inside this main only. So main, it is having another child which is S. So this will be the tree, and this will be the stack for this main. First came the main, then procedure P came. P has a variable A. In this we are having Q, it is having B. What will happen after that? What will thing after this B, what will happen? B, it has been ended. Q particular procedure has been ended, so it will be popped out. Then S will enter into it. S will came over here. S will be having a variable C, and then both the functions will be popped out of this particular main. So this is how this stack of the activation record will work. Now this is for that. This is the simple functions. Let's see for the recursive procedures how these activation records are going to work. So again we are having, we all know that for the main we are having a main function for any program. So we are having a program main function we are having. In this main, a procedure P has been declared. In this procedure P, a function Q has been created with variable a as an integer. Then the function has been started with begin. If a is equal to 1, then q is equal to 1. The function is returning the value, else q is equal to a plus q up to a minus 1. So this is the recursive function which is going to be called. Then begin q3 and then we will be ending begin p and end. So this is the activation record, how it is going to handle over here. So what is the recursive function over here? Recursive function, it is the function q. This is the recursive function q which is going to be called itself again and again. So let's see, in this main we are having a main function. Procedure P is there. In this procedure P we are having a function q. This particular function q we are calling it with 3. That means the value of a which is provided is 3. So a 3. After a has been done 3 minus 1, this will be 2. So q2 is been called, the value of a is 2. After that 2 minus 1, 1, q1 and a1. So whenever the control will go to this if statement, it has checked if a is equal to 1. Yes, the value of a is equal to 1. That means value of q will be 1. And from here the values, the computations will be reversed here at us. So this is how this activation record will be done for the recursive functions. Now same for the quicksort as well. We can see we have a call tree main and we have a rearray, and stack, it will always be going downwards as we have seen in this recursive calls as well. So for both the simple functions as well as for the recursive ones, the activation records will be working as it is. It's just the control where the program flow has been taken place. So quick 1 to 9. So main a array, quick 1 to 9 function will be called I, that will be integer. Here again P1 to 9, quick 1 to 3. So I integer has been called, quick 1 to 3. Again I integer will be checked and quick 1 comma 0, it will be checked and I integer. So if I say over here the frame pointers, it will point to the first word of the frame. This is $FP, where it will point to the first frame, and the stack pointer which is $SP, where it will point to the last word of the frame. So say for registers we are having this frame pointer, for the local variables we are having this stack pointer. Frame pointer will be pointing to the first place, whereas the stack pointer, it will be pointing to the last word of the frame, and the frame consists of the memory between the locations which is between frame pointer and the stack pointer. So we are having various arguments over here like 5, 6, saved registers are there, local variables are there. As we have discussed earlier as well, the stack will be growing in the downward direction. Now creating the activation record, who allocates on the activation record for the procedure, who deallocates them. So some part of the activation record of a procedure, it is created by that procedure immediately after the procedure is entered. Whenever the procedure gets entered into the function, then immediately that particular thing will be allocated into it. Now some part of it is created by the caller of that procedure before the procedure is entered. So some part is created before the procedure is entered by the caller, and some part it will be created after, as soon as the procedure has been entered. Now who will deallocate it? Callee will deallocate the part which was allocated by the callee, whereas the caller will deallocate the part which was deallocated by the caller. So it depends who is calling the procedure. If it is called by the callee, then the callee is going to deallocate it. If it is going to be called by the caller, then the responsibility lies with the caller to deallocate it. Now activation record, we have seen this: return value, actual parameters, optional controlling. These are the caller's activation record. The rest of the part, it is by the caller's responsibility. From optional access link, saved machine status, local data, temporaries, return value, actual parameters, optional control link. This is the one part. So it is being divided into various parts. This is the callee's activation record. So from here to here, we can say it is to be the Collie's activation part, and from optional access link, saved machine, local data, temporaries, this is the Collie's responsibility. So this is how this activation record stack has been divided in between caller and the callee. Now, what is Collie's responsibility before calling it? So, it is allocate the memory for the activation record, then it will save Collie saved registers in the frame, like we have seen for the frame pointer and the stack pointer. Then we establish the frame pointer by adding the stack's frame size to it. Caller's responsibility is to pass the argument to save the caller saved registers and then executing the instructions which are to be executed. So, this is the working of the activation record, how this is going to happen. Callee proceduring, this is callee. So, how it will be done? It will initialize all the variables, it will execute the procedures and then it will begin the local execution. Callie's responsibility on returning, if it is returning, then responsibility will be popping from the stack frame, returning the values and adding the return pointer at the last. After it add point to the call, this is return points processing of the caller. So, this is how this activation record is going to work. The responsibility has been divided between the caller and the callee, and by the help of the stack allocation, the allocation in the dynamic and the runtime environment can be done.